Well, hello there. Welcome to this session about discipline. This session is all about sticking to your system. You already know that the best traders are the most disciplined. Of course, you do. It's one of those things that everyone loves to say, like, well, if you want to lose weight, you got to eat less. Yeah, thanks, genius. But here's the thing, knowing isn't the same as doing. That gap between understanding something and actually making it happen is where the real work is. And that's what fascinates me. This session takes a broad yet critical approach to tackling that gap. If you need more help with this core issue of trading psychology, feel free to repeat this session or check out others like Revenge Trading, Emotional Rescue 1 and 2, or honestly, any of my sessions. They all build discipline because that's what it's all about. Think about the reason you trade. It's not just to make money, right? It's about building something, a career, a sense of freedom, a life you can control. And that's only possible if you stick to the system you've created for yourself. You know it works. You've done the back testing, you've studied the charts, and you've built your system with care. But sometimes the emotions take over. A losing streak hits or a trade looks too good to pass up, and you want to deviate. That's human. But today, we're going to work on strengthening your ability to stay the course. So I'd like for you to please check in with yourself on a scale of 0 to 10, where 0 is calm and 10 is super intense. How activated do you feel right now? Got it? Good. All right. Keep that in mind as you watch the ball and just check in with yourself. All right. And now let's do a moment of reflection. When was the last time you followed your system perfectly, but the trade still didn't work out? It's frustrating, right? Well, think about that moment. Feel the frustration. Feel the doubt that crept in. All right, deep breath. I have a little cold. Now think about the other side of it. When you've strayed from your system, maybe you got impatient or overconfident or panicked. What happened afterwards? Did it work out? And even if it did, how did you feel about breaking your rules? Go back and relive that, please. I really hope you haven't been rewarded for breaking your rules. If you have, then try to block it out or try to not necessarily strengthen that dynamic. Because if somebody breaks the rules and wins, then they may understand that they shouldn't have done that intellectually, but on a basic, deep, subconscious level, which is much more powerful, by the way, they will be really tempted to do it again. The first time you do something is really important. That's why all those sports betting websites throw all this money at people for joining. As far as I'm concerned, that should be illegal. If somebody new tries betting on sports and loses, they won't have all that classical conditioning happen in their brains and they won't be hooked. What's your first reaction to breaking the rules of trading? Does it seem fun or dumb? All right, take a deep breath and let's picture the system that you've built. You've worked hard to create this plan. It's rooted in research, logic, and experience. It's like planting a garden. You've chosen the right seeds and you've prepared the soil, you've watered them properly, and the results aren't immediate. But you know that growth takes time, so let that ideal settle in as you watch the ball. As you know, the thing about trading is even if you do everything right, you won't win every time. And if you do win or lose, you won't know everything that went into it. But that, of course, is the nature of probabilities. So just like a farmer can't guarantee perfect weather, you can't control the market. You can control the process. So imagine yourself planting those seeds and walking away. You've done your part, and now let the results take care of themselves. What does that feel like to be able to do that? All right, now let's address the urge to deviate from your plan. Why do you think that happens? Are you afraid of missing out or losing money? Picture the moment when you're tempted to go off script and what emotions are coming up for you. Fear, greed, overconfidence? Let's see what pops up from your unconscious because when you remove your analytical brain, we can really get down to what's going on. All right, so I'd like for you to once again check in with yourself, 0 to 10. And I hope you're feeling some stuff because I do need you to be able to access your emotions. But I'd like for you to try to lower that number during the next set. So please imagine a ball, the ball, as a bucket of water and use it to cool that urge down. Picture that fire of impulsiveness getting smaller and smaller and maybe even going out. All right, take a deep breath. And now I'd like for you to think about the traders out there who don't have a system. They're jumping from strategy to strategy and chasing wins and probably losing big, but that's not you. You're different. You're building something long term. For them, like if I think about that, it makes me anxious, like adrenaline. But I'm sure it's thrilling as well when you do win. But as one of the major tenets of what I always preach is that adrenaline makes your logical brain go offline. And you need to be focusing on long term contentment as opposed to short term thrills. So think about all that, please. All right. Now think about what happens when you stick to your system, even when it's hard. Picture the worst case scenario. You follow the rules and the trade still doesn't work out. But is it really that bad? Be honest. All right, deep breath. And now please imagine instead of focusing on the outcome of a single trade, you focus on the bigger picture. One loss doesn't ruin your career, one win doesn't define success. But what does success look like for you? I'd like for you to picture that, please. All right. So obviously you know intellectually how probabilities works, but I want you to feel that in a on a deep level. So imagine flipping a coin 100 times. Heads wins, tails loses. And if heads wins 60% of the time, it doesn't matter if you get 3 tails in a row. Over 100 flips, the odds will play out in your favor. And of course, your system works the same way. So just try to feel the comfort in knowing that you don't have to win every trade. All right, good job. Now think about the part of you that wants to stay disciplined, the part that designed your system and knows that it works. What does that part look like? Imagine it as a person or a symbol. Okay, so now that you have identified what that represents for you in terms of some kind of a symbol or a character, I'd like for you to imagine interacting with it. What would you want to say? What would you want to hear? All right, and so then let's have you please conjure up an image or a symbol or a person or character or whatever to represent that part of you that wants to break the rules. Maybe it's impulsive or scared or impatient. What does that part of you look like? All right. You can always talk to that good part and that bad part, and maybe we shouldn't even label them that way. They're both parts of you, but you can keep them close to you when you're trading. And I'd like for you to imagine interacting right now with that part of you that is impulsive. And what would you want to say to it? What would you want to hear from it? Okay, so now I'd like those two different parts of you to sit down at a table with you, and then you guys just work it all out. Like come up with a plan. How could you work together? How can everybody feel heard? And how can you sort of have that synergy that makes everything go? So if they argue, that's fine. Let's see how they interact with each other right now. Okay, now I would like for you to imagine making a trade. You're in the moment, and both of those parts of you are also present. So it might be on either shoulder, but the disciplined part of you gives you clarity and focus. The impulsive part reminds you to stay human, but it doesn't take over. So I'd like for you to please picture yourself following your system step by step. Hey, good job. So now I'd like for you to please feel what it's like to make a decision that you're proud of. Even if the outcome isn't perfect, you know you've done your job. You've stuck to your plan, and that's what matters. Over the long term, that is what is going to give you success. So maybe even picture yourself after losing, but you did everything right to set it up and be able to celebrate you're doing the right thing, even though the results didn't go your way. So we have to get it so that it feels good and you want more of it. Like if you're feeling like, oh my God, the odds are against me and maybe my system's not that good and I'm never going to win, that's taking energy away from you and you're not going to want to strive for that. But if you could strive for doing the right thing and sticking with your system and feeling good about that, then you're going to want to do that more. So any little action that you make is setting yourself up for more of those good actions down the road. So please go ahead and indulge yourself and feel really good right now. All right. Good job. Now it's time to go to the Magic Potion store. You see bottles in this store all over the place, and they have labels like discipline, patience, clarity. Pick one or pick all of them or pick something else that you need, but go ahead and drink it and feel those qualities spreading throughout your body. All right. Now, picture a bridge leading to the future. You're walking across it with your disciplined self and your emotional self, but all three of you are pretty much in harmony. So go ahead and feel the pride of knowing that you're building a career on a solid foundation. Go ahead and cross into the future right now. All right. Take a deep breath. You've done great work today. You've strengthened your ability to trust your system, handle your emotions, and focus on the long term. The results will take care of themselves. Happy trading. Content trading.